strategies of successful realtors. Thank you for attending today. Let's begin. Everyone, we have Raquel Ramirez. She has the floor now.
Thank you. Hello to all. Yes, as Jeff said, I'm just recovering. But I am Raquel, and I'm really excited to be with you today, sharing with you the key ingredient to building your brand and business through social media. I know time is of the essence, so let's get started. Okay, so I come along and take this walk with me as we dive into how to tell your story effectively on social media to win more business. So I know you guys are ready to learn. So here's what we're going to be covering in today's presentation. What social media is and where it's headed. Why you need to be on social media now. The basics of social media. What it means to tell your story. How to do it effectively on the top social media networks. And I have a surprise for you at the end. Okay? So just to get started, a little bit about me and how I got here today. I graduated back in 2001 from San Diego State University. Don't know if we have any California or San Diegans out there. In the early 2000s, I became a realtor, and I launched a business, a real estate office with a business partner, and we were building our teams and whatnot. But in 2008, after giving birth to my first son, it was a personal choice to become a stay-at-home mom. And so in 2009, I became a stay-at-home mom. And 2 toddlers and pregnant, I decided to go back to school and get my master's degree. I know, a little crazy, but that's just a glimpse of me. And so in 2013, I did get my master's degree in business management. And in same year, I got my social media management certification. So I went through school thinking I was going to start a business and knew the value of social media in my business. Little did I know that I was going to fall in love with just social media. So long story short, I stayed with social media and started helping others with as well. Now, so now let's talk about social media. What social media is, what it isn't, and where it is headed. So first off, I do want to debunk some myths that are out there about social media, okay? So let's tackle that first. Myth number 1, social media is for the youngsters. The fastest growing demographic on Twitter is the 55 to 64-year-old age bracket. This demographic has grown 79% since 2012. The 45 to 54-year-old age bracket is the fastest growing demographic on both Facebook and Google+. For Facebook, this group has jumped 46%. For Google+, 56%. So chances are that your customers, potential customers, and competition are already on there. Myth number 2, one needs to be a techie to use social media. Social media is more about building relationships through storytelling. And just as you picked up email technology, you'll soon be whizzing through the social media technology as well. Myth number 3, it requires me to be on social media 24/7. By using the proper tools and systems, you can do social media in 1 hour a week, 10 minutes a day. Now, that doesn't seem too time consuming, does it? Great. Social media's growth. Social media initially started as a platform for people to engage with each other. Soon after, companies started using it as a unique way to reach out to their customers. And as of September 2013, 73% of online adults use social media networks, and that number is only growing. As more and more people adapt and use social media, it will make it much more vital for you to be there in order for your customers to find you, potential customers to be attracted to you, and to make those strategic connections with other professionals in your industry. So why do you need to be on social media now? A business goes on social media strategically to do one or perhaps maybe a hybrid of the following. 1, build awareness. If you're new in the industry or on social media, This would probably be your first goal, to build awareness. 2, to generate more business. And we'll get into that in a little bit, okay? 3, to keep customers happy or to retain them. So you want to nurture your community of believers who can rave about you, share about you, and refer others to you. Being realistic and having a goal in mind before diving into social media will help you carry out your social media strategy. Okay, so let's talk about the basics of social media. What does it mean to tell your story? Social media comes down to one thing, and when you do that one thing right, you will succeed on any platform. You must tell your story well. What do I mean? I mean, know your story. Who are you? What makes you different and sets you apart from the rest? What's your vision? What's your goal, your passion? This is what makes up your unique story, and this should be effortlessly interwoven into every piece of content that you put out in social media. Your ideal customer will connect, resonate, and listen to you. If you think you can put out a general message that says, I can sell your house, and I can sell your house, within 30 days, it will get lost in the social media noise. Your unique story plus your ideal customer equals being heard in social media. There's just too much noise out there, folks. Therefore, your story is about you, but you still have to make the content about them, your audience, and bring them value. So how does one do that? Well, I have an easy formula for you. Okay. So before you put out any content, you want to ask yourself, does this inform? Does it educate or entertain my customers? In other words, why would they care? And I do want to add to it, does this create an experience for my customers? So let's make sure that we're putting out content that brings value to our audience. Okay, so going to how to tell your story on the top social media platforms. So let's first dive into Facebook. And so what I'm going to do, we're going to take a look at some of the top social media platforms, what those platforms offer, and how to tell your story there. Starting off with Facebook. Facebook is a place where people hang out to socialize and see what everyone else is doing via status updates, sharing of articles and photos. Now, how you tell your story here is maybe by sharing status updates about, let's say you're doing a 5K run, or you're sharing a funny Friday saying, sharing an article about a breaking news issue that your audience would be interested in reading. It comes easier to know what to share when you know your story and you know your ideal customer. It is a process, so do stay patient, okay? So let's look at an example now. We're going to take a look at case study number 1. Okay, case study number 1. So here's Remax, and Remax does a great job at engaging their audience for a couple of reasons. 1, visual. Facebook is a great place for visuals, and many visit the site on their mobile phones while scrolling down. You probably do this yourself. So visuals are most effective at getting the audience attention. There's just so much stuff on the newsfeed that when you put a visual picture that's engaging, you're instantly going to get attention. So they do that job here by putting this image that immediately drew me to it. The second thing they do is interest. This specific audience would be interested in home decor. So this tells me Remax knows their audience, and they're serving them content that's relevant, something that they would appreciate. The third thing they do right is they have one call to action. It asks audience to do one thing, so it's simple, it's clear, and concise, and it works. So when you're doing something like this, try to do one call to action. It will increase the chances that they will do that one thing. Okay, so all they're asking their customers to do, or their audience to do here, is to share a photo with them that they're going to then pin on their Pinterest board. And so that brings me to the fourth thing that they do right, the bonus that they do. They cross-promote to their other social media page on Pinterest. Now notice they didn't tell them, hey, come on over to Pinterest and pin your pin here. No, but they told them that they are on Pinterest. So for someone who's seeing this that wants to see more content like this, they're more apt to go follow them on Pinterest, right? So this is a really good example of how to tell your story on Facebook. So that's what RE/MAX does. They care not only to sell the home, but to also want to help their audience make that house into a home by doing projects such as these. Okay, and this isn't, I think it's called Upcycle. Yeah. Okay, next we have Twitter. Twitter is an online social network and a microblogging service that enables users to send and read tweets, which are text messages limited to 140 characters. And you can now add images to these tweets, which makes it even better because images, like we said, engage people. Here's our case study too. This is Denisha Danielle. Denisha Danielle is a real estate broker in LA, and yet she does not tweet about that regularly. She doesn't say, hey, I'm a real estate broker, and doesn't continuously talk about real estate. Instead, what we see is a little glimpse of her background, her passion, her family. And other tweets of hers that she had were also inspirational quotes, quotes about school stats, things that are near and dear to her heart. And by what she tweets, we can get her story and the message that she's putting out into the world. So that's the way you can tell your story on Twitter. And I just want to add that with Twitter, there is so much more that you can do with regards to conducting searches for potential customers, forming strategic connections, and creating custom lists of leaders in your industry that you want to follow. And so that's for another day. Today I just want to show you how to tell your story strategically on Twitter. Okay? So with that, we go to our next case study, which is on Pinterest. Pinterest is basically a virtual pinboard style photo sharing website that allows you to create and manage theme-based image collections such as events, interests, and hobbies. And users can browse other pin boards for images and repin images to their own pin boards. Or they can like that pin or comment on that pin. And pins are basically the photos that you upload. So here we have Allison, or Jean. I don't know how to pronounce it. Now, I don't know her personally, but she really drew me in to her profile. Jean Lawson does a fantastic job with all her Pinterest, and I'm so excited to see this and share this with you. From her photo, that is not your typical real estate agent shot, is it? I mean, she's wearing shades. She's not even looking at the camera. I usually don't advise people to do that. I want people to connect with you and look into your face. But something about this photo works for her because it gives out this vibe that she's very down to earth, very real, very nonchalant. And I really like that about her. And so from her photo that she has, and her bio gives us a quick glimpse of her story. And then her boards provide great content that's current and even has some pop culture there, like celebrity homes. People are always interested in celebrities, right? And her boards give us even more insights as to who she is, her interests, her story. If I happen to see one of her pins and that led me to her profile, I could quickly determine if she's someone that I want to follow, get to know, and determine if she will bring value to me, because that's how people that are looking at your pins on Pinterest come to your profile. They don't come right onto your Pinterest site. They usually they come from a pin, and instantly they're going to make that assessment if you're somebody they're going to want to follow. Now, Jean strikes me as such a cool lady, and without having met her, one can learn a lot about her just by looking at her profile. So she does a really great job at that. And so if Pinterest is somewhere that you're thinking might be an option for you, this is a good case study to kind of follow and mirror. Okay, and that takes us to case study number 4, and that's Instagram. Oh, I love Instagram. It's so fun. For those of you who are not familiar with Instagram, it's a virtual scrapbook, online photo sharing, video sharing, and social networking service that enables users to take pictures and video, apply digital filters to them, and share them on a variety of social network services. And unlike Pinterest, Instagram is very much a social network platform where people really engage with each other in comments and likes. And what's kind of ironic is that it's a very candid, behind-the-scenes platform, but it's funny because it asks you to remove your professional filter, yet it allows you to add filters to your images. So I just thought that was funny. Anyways, we have here Carrie Green. She's the founder of Female Entrepreneur Association. And she does a great job of giving her audience some behind the scenes of her life. Instagram is a more intimate platform where you go to share raw, candid, behind the scenes pictures. Therefore, in my opinion, is the easiest of all platforms to tell your story via photos. Now, Carrie lets her audience know her fondness about scented candles. And who generally likes candles? Women, right? So naturally, she's providing content that's relevant and interesting to her ideal audience. And it is a female entrepreneur association, so she's definitely hitting her mark with giving her audience ideal content they might find suitable. I also like the touch of having her website exposed in the background. Now, whether that was strategic or not, it's clever because it's not in your face, it's subtle, and it reveals the type of computer she has, which I found interesting because we have the same one. So that would immediately make me engage and say, hey, what do you like about your computer? So that's just another opportunity to engage with viewers that are looking at your pictures. Although I think she could have used more hashtags, and that's another element of Instagram that we're not going to get into right now. I do think she did a fine job of just giving us a glimpse of her story here. So that is Instagram and how to tell your story there. Okay, now I just want to kind of recap and just give you some closing thoughts. I want to share with you a quote from the guy that I call the godfather of social media, okay? I just call him that way. And if you ever get a chance to see this guy, you're going to see what I mean. But I do want to leave you with one of his quotes from his book, Jab, 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 Right Hook. And he says, your story needs to move people's spirits and build their goodwill so that when you finally do ask them to buy from you, they feel like you've given them so much. It would almost be rude to refuse. And that should give you a good understanding of how much you're putting out there, how much value you're putting out to your customers, that you would feel that they're compelled to buy whatever you're selling or to work with you or to build a relationship with you. But it only comes with this notion of give before you take. And that's the whole component that you need to integrate with your content on social media, along with telling your story in a very organic way. And I know these are a lot of different things that you want to take into consideration. Maybe you feel like you're ready and you're willing to start writing down your story, and you're taking it, and you want to take it to your ideal audience in social media. But maybe you're asking yourself, but how do I do that? And how do I start? Where do I start? And what do I do first? So I do want to help you out. I promise I want to help you out. I'd like to help you tell your story on social media by helping you craft your custom social media strategy. Learn what the best social media platform is for you to start on and start sharing your story with your ideal audience. Now, because I don't know you, I don't know exactly where you're at in social media, I want to meet you precisely where you're at. And that is why I have a special offer for you. And it's a 1-hour social media consultation where I get to really learn where you're at. The session includes an assessment, a review of your current social media strategy, story development, how to tell your brand story. And in this case, you are the brand. Strategize. Revamp your current social media strategy. If it's stagnant, that means something's got to give. Something's not working. We got to fix it. And give you advice, what you need to do next to start your social media success and get more business. But here's the surprise that I was going to give you at the end. I have bonuses for you. If you do take advantage of this today, I'm giving you my 3-step to an effective social media strategy, a course, online course. It's valued at $97, but I'm going to give it to you because I think it is so ideal to have, especially the first step on it is so important to your story development. I'm also going to give you social media master templates that I just created just for you. Now so we have here 3 steps to an effective social media strategy course. Further assess your social media goals to identify your ideal customer and learn how to drive traffic to your account and boost your sales with social media. And your social media profile cheat sheet template to help you build your online profiles quickly and easily. I am all about the stress-free approach to social media, and that's what I want to help you, to give you the comfort and the confidence that, yes, you can do it. And you can do it with a strategic plan, and you can have results from it. So, all this for you, all this for only $97. I know, it's ridiculous. So, I wanted to do something special for you guys because this is a special webinar. So, are you ready? If so, come on over, or you can write this link down. And it's going to be, if you want to, I don't want you guys to leave the webinar. So if you want to write this down, I know that this is being recorded, so when the recording gets out to you, the link is also going to be there available for you. I do look forward to meeting you and to working with you and helping you go out there and set your mark on social media. Now I'll just take some questions, so I'm going to give the floor back to TC to see if you have any questions for me.
Okay, thank you, Raquel. This is your moderator, Travorce Carnes, and we're going to begin the question and answer session. And just a quick review for the software. We're using GoToWebinar, so there is a control panel to your right where all of your audio and interaction functions are handled. You can minimize and maximize that area. And if you are on the telephone, you'll need an audio pin if you choose to interact with us live. We do have that capability if someone would like to use it. The majority of you, though, will likely type in your questions. There is a question section where you can type in your question. And if you were to type that in, it will come directly to me, and I will read your question and ask Raquel directly and get an answer for you right now. You can also get my attention by clicking the Raise Your Hand button, and that will notify me that you would like to attempt to ask your question directly to Raquel. So give me a moment to queue up the questions. It'll be a little silence as I pull the questions down, so one moment. Okay, again, forgive the silence. I do have our first question queued. From Lynn Biddens. I'm already on Facebook, but have not used Twitter or Instagram. In terms of importance, how does Twitter and Instagram rate as compared to Facebook and Pinterest?
Oh, that's a great question. Is it Lynn?
Yes,
That's
Lynn.
a great question, Lynn, because that's the number one question, actually. What's the best social media site to be in? And my answer to that is not very impressive, because my answer to that is it depends. It depends because it comes down to where your ideal audience is hanging out. Now, if your ideal audience is nowhere to be found on Instagram, it makes no sense for you to be on Instagram. I don't care how cool it is. It makes no sense. And so that's part of creating your social media strategy, is to learn to research where your customer is at. If you have no clue what your ideal customer is, that's where we need to start. And that's why it's very important for me to start from scratch. Who are you? What's your story? Who's your ideal audience? Where are they hanging out? And in that trajectory, that's where you're going to find the most opportune place for you to be at. It has to be strategic, not just I want to be where the cool kids are. Does that make sense? I hope that answers your question.
Okay. Next question is from Grace Morica. Can you explain the use of hashtags and how they are useful?
Okay. Hashtags are basically, you see the pound sign, and then it has a word after that. Now, it varies on its efficiency and how effective they are, depending on what social media platform you're at. They are super effective on Twitter and on Instagram, because a lot of people come to find that specific content or the image based on that hashtag that you use. I know on also Pinterest you can do this as well. It just hasn't taken off as people would hope so on Facebook. So some people will still put a hashtag on Facebook. It's not, some people still use it to kind of use it as a summary of the content that they just wrote. So it just depends on what social media platform you're using it on. But it's more effective in certain platforms.
Okay. How do you, this is from Beverly Boggs. How do you let people know that you are on Instagram?
That's a great question, Beverly. And I don't know if you currently are on any other social media site. It really does depend. Like, this is why the consultation is so important, because you come with me with a question and I want to ask you questions right back, but I might not have access to you. But Beverly, if you have currently a Facebook profile, a Facebook business page, those are places to kind of tell people that you can also be found on Instagram. You can also, I don't want to get too techy for you, but you can also integrate your Instagram into the feed, the Instagram feed of all your content that you're putting out there, your images. You can put that into a tab. If you have a Facebook business page, you can integrate it into a tab so people can just click on that tab and see your Instagram feed, and right there and then they can follow you. So there's very strategic ways to kind of do cross-promotion so that you can get the message and kind of take where you have most of your fans, let them know about another platform you're on, so you can kind of get them to migrate there and start building all your different platforms. And this all, yes, it requires a strategy, and that's why it's, again, that's the whole reason why I start everybody with a strategy, because unless you have a map of where you're going, you don't know where you're going and how you're going to get there, or where the heck you're going to end up, right? So I don't know if that answers your question, Beverly, but I would definitely leverage the other social media platforms you're on.
Okay. Susan H., do you have suggestions on how to maximize LinkedIn?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. What was her name? Susan?
Susan H. She didn't provide her full last name. So Susan.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. I can give you a plethora of them. But I would just start off with, have a great photo of yourself, okay? A photo that can immediately resonate with people. That is, you're there, you look happy to be doing your job, you have a great headline that says what you do, and you have to have your profile completed, not halfways. You have to have it completed so people will get, again, your story. The story is all right there. And that's the beauty of doing that, the 3-step strategy with me, because you're going to have a story. Bam. That's the first thing. We're going to take that story and try to apply it into all the social media platforms that you're currently on or that you want to be in. And then that cheat sheet for the template for the cheat sheet, it has all the amount of characters that you get per social media. Everybody has a different amount of characters that you're allotted to complete your profile. So we take care of all that beautifully so that everything comes super easy to you. But with LinkedIn, have it complete before you take on anything else, before you invite people to your LinkedIn. You have to have a completed profile and a great picture and a great headline. That's how you get started. And use the keywords that you want people, that people are looking for you. What would they be typing in Google search or LinkedIn search? Those words need to be organically integrated into your description and your summary of what you do. Okay, next question.
Okay. Elizabeth Field, her question is, do you think it's necessary to have a Facebook business page?
I do. Absolutely, I do, because when you don't, and I know that there's a lot of realtors, a lot of realtor brokers out there that are hesitant to do this. I don't know the specific reason why, but the only thing that I can say that when you don't have a Facebook business page, you're basically cutting your marketing and advertising possibilities on the knees, because you don't have the access to advertise with the personal Facebook page. And Facebook doesn't really condone for you to be talking about your business, promoting, doing calls to action on your personal page, because that's supposed to be a personal page. So I would, leverage your personal page and invite them to your Facebook page, and then start using that for your business purposes, and to take advantage of the advertising, of the tabs, of all these different features that are in a Facebook page. So it only enhances what you currently have in place. It's not going to hurt you.
Okay, next question from Michael Gunther. Is it bad to have too many hashtags in one post? What is the acceptable amount? 2, 3, 4, or more? And do different platforms have different appropriate amounts?
That's a great question, Michael, because yes, there is, every platform may vary, but there actually was a study on this about the strategic amount of hashtags, and this was done on Instagram. So they found that it started showing like a pickup on people that were looking at the hashtags or the image based on the hashtags amounts that they were using. And it was kind of like the sweet spot came right around seven hashtags on Instagram, because after 7, you started seeing a diminishing return where it started looking kind of spammy and kind of desperate. And I have a philosophy when it comes to hashtags, and I say, when it comes to hashtags, think of it like makeup. You want to apply it accordingly, but you don't want to look like a clown. So you want to use them wisely. You don't want to just put everything, because then you start looking spammy and desperate. You really want to use those hashtags to bring value to people who are going to be searching those. So if you want people to come to you, it needs to be relevant. Why do you want people to come to you? Because you have a puppy there? But, it's like you need to be strategic in those hashtags and not use them, foolishly. And then the other half of it was, does it change via platform? I think it does. I think for Instagram, it's more hashtag friendly. I think for Twitter, it'd probably be between 3 and 4. I mean, 2 and 3. Anything else it just doesn't look natural. No, it doesn't. So, anyhow,
okay.
That was a great question, Michael.
Okay. This comes from Stephen Boykin. Do you have suggestions for reputation management / SEO?
SEO?
Reputation management or SEO?
Is it the last thing you're saying, SEO?
I'm assuming he's referring to search engine optimization as a part of reputation management.
I'm not familiar exactly what you mean by reputation management. Does that mean like your personal reputation, your company's reputation, your employees' reputation. I don't specifically know, I mean, that's not my area of expertise, but all I can offer in this respect is that the best way
Raquel, I'm going to interrupt you. Raquel,
Yes,
I'm going to interrupt you. He gave a clarifying question. He's referring to online social
oh,
reviews.
okay. Oh, okay. So like Yelp,
Right.
and that sort. Okay, or any type of, any of those review. And you know what? Actually, my answer is probably going to just umbrella everything. Because when it comes to online and anything that's put out there, it's out there. You cannot get those back. You know, it's out there and it's not going to go away. and if you have, like, say you have a nasty comment or a nasty review or whatnot, the best way to combat that is to be sympathetic to what they're saying. If it's a reasonable concern, if it's somebody that's just being rude, then I would delete it. I would contact Yelp or, but if it's a sincere person that's just irate and is just unhappy with your service, then I would combat it with a sincere, sympathetic comment. Don't ignore it. That's the worst thing you can do. Or actually, the worst thing you can do is delete it. Don't delete it. Don't ignore it. Attend to it immediately, because what's going to happen is two things. One, you're going to show the person that you do care what they have to say, that you do care that they feel this way, because you want to make your business better. And two, people are listening to what you're saying. So if your other fans or followers, subscribers, whatever, they're looking at you and reading, saying, how's he going to handle this? You know, I've done this where I'm like, ooh, that was a nasty comment. How are they going to react? And when you react in a very upstanding, wise, tactful manner, wow, that speaks volumes of you. And as a fan of yours, I feel even better. And you know what? Your fans come out to your rescue. They'll comment, they'll say, yes, you know, you've always been great with us, da-da-da-da. So you do need to have that protocol for you to always resort to that and not take not take the shady way of just deleting it or ignoring it. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's something that was, that should be applied no matter what.
Okay. Here's a question from Laura Gardner. It's lengthy, so I won't read the entire question, but the introduction of her question really gives you the essence of what she'd like to know.
Okay.
How do I invite people to my Facebook page? My team leader wants me to do this. And Laura is concerned about doing this in a way that doesn't appear as if she's stalking people. So I think that should give you the essence of what she needs to know.
So she has a Facebook page now?
Yes,
Laura
they do have a Facebook page now, and she wants to invite more people to them, and it's very lengthy, so I'm not able to read it, but
That's
she
okay.
wants to get more people to become a part of her page, particularly past clients.
When I first started real estate, my broker would tell me, but this is old school, okay? I had to send a letter to everybody that I knew to tell them, hey, I'm doing real estate now. Just want to let you know. So, in today, that would look a lot different. That would look like a Facebook page. What I would suggest is if you're thinking of, like, first start off with people that you think would be reading your content, that they would be supporting you, they would be engaging with them, probably your friends, your family, okay? Send them a message via Facebook or email with your link to your page to ask them to come and like it, support you, what you're going to be offering them as far as value and content. So I would send them a message first. That's what I did. I sent my closest friends and family a message, something intimate and personal. Then the Facebook page offers you that option of saying you want to invite so-and-so, you want to invite so-and-so, and you can just click on everybody you want to invite. Now, you start looking spammy when you're doing that every day. You want to do it once a month, because some people ignore them or they forget to look. And then 3, you would have to start doing ads. So again, that's part of your social media strategy. You want to create awareness that you're there. So with specifically Facebook, I don't know if you guys are aware with the changes that Facebook has done, where in their algorithm, where organic reach, which is people that are seeing your content without ads is decreasing. It used to be we were able to at least reach, 15% of your audience, and now it's like 4%, if any. So it really brings in the whole notion of needing to use the ads on Facebook. And you know what? The ads on Facebook are super cheap. So if you're using them strategically and you're doing them right, there should be no problem why people wouldn't be hearing from you that way. So I would say, Laura, write them a personal message. 2, invite them through your Facebook page with a click of a button. And 3, start using Facebook ads. And 4, if you're in other platforms, tell them that you're on Facebook and share your link. If you have a newsletter, share your link and send them over. If you have people's emails, again, same thing. Got to get the word out.
Question from Sandra Israelson. Some people maintain a separate presence on Facebook for their business and for their personal. Do you feel this is an important strategy?
I think to have a personal page and a business page is good. I think that there should be some element of your personal life integrated into your business page. Now, I have a Facebook page and I have a business page, and I tend to add a lot of content about my kids on my personal page, okay? Because my ideal client might not have kids, okay? But sometimes when there's something important happening in my life, like, I don't know, it was like I was sick or something, and I shared it on my personal page, I also shared it on my business page because I want people to see a glimpse of who I really am. I'm human. You know, behind every company, behind every brand, there's a person. And people want to feel like they're connecting with the person. They don't want to feel that they're just connecting with the company. So the more you can convey that to your audience, that you're human, that you're a person who gets sick, who gets happy, who gets, who goes out for a run or whatever, share that with them because it makes you look more human to them. So I would say integrate the element that that's going to resonate with your ideal audience. So let's say my ideal audience, is really into fitness, and that's part of my life. So then that element, I'm going to share a lot about that because I know that my ideal client cares about fitness. But maybe my ideal client is not big into kids' crafts, so I'm probably not going to share that. So you have to, again, know your story, know who your ideal audience is so that you can know what social media platform to go on and what to talk about there.
Okay.
And I hope that answers your question, Sandra.
Okay, and this will be our last question that we'll be able to get to. There are many, many more, and I do apologize that we're not able to get to them all, but in the spirit of time, we will be transitioning to our close after this. But please type in your question now because we will be following up with questions afterwards and attempt to answer all of the questions that have been unanswered. So if you do have another question, although it won't be answered here live, please type it in now so that we'll have a record of it and we'll get the answer to you as soon as possible after the webinar. So the last question for the live session is from Maria Smith. How often do you recommend doing a call to action on Facebook, and do you recommend doing the call to action on Facebook or Twitter most?
Well, that's a good question, Maria, because there is a kind of another rule of thumb to use where it's the 80-20, or some people even say 90-10, because you really want to put out content that is providing value. That whole notion. You remember the quote I shared with you that's from Gary Vaynerchuk that says, his book is called Jab, 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 Right Hook. Those jabs represent you giving to them. Give, 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 and then ask. Okay? So you want to make sure, when you put yourself in your customers or your audience point of view, see what, if what you're giving to them is of value. Do you feel weird asking them for something? If you feel weird, then you're probably not giving them enough. You should feel confident and comfortable that whatever you're asking them to do, it's because you're kind of extending the value that you've already put out there. It should be an extension of that. So do you want them to work with you, or say you want them to attend a seminar or a workshop or a webinar? whatever you're doing for them. Maybe you're holding a credit repair workshop that you want them to attend. Sure, but before you ask them for that, make sure you've taken your time to build a relationship with them, that you've jabbed enough, that when you go in for that right hook, that ask, the call to action, they're going to feel like, remember that quote said, they're going to feel like they're indebted to you, that of course they're going to say yes. So follow that recipe of give, 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 and then ask.
Okay. Raquel, I'd like to give you an opportunity to make any closing remarks to the audience here today.
Yes, guys, like I said, I'm really excited to be here to talk with you guys. And I know that being on social media is not even a luxury anymore. It's a must now. People expect you to be there. So whether you use myself or someone else, just get help to create your social media strategy before you dive into it. You want to plan for your success.
And Jeff, this is your time to close us out for the day.
Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in with us, everybody. We do apologize for the brief technical issues we had there, but as Raquel said, in a live event, that's just kind of the nature of the beast. Once again, here's my contact information. You can reach me if you are further interested in learning more about our brokerage. I would be delighted to speak with you. And we look forward to having you tune into our for our March webinar, which we will be sending out emails for shortly. So thank you very much, everybody, and we look forward to seeing you next month.